I hope they don't get that guy, Ibrahim Traore, the Burkina Faso president.
Okay.
So he's rejecting IMF money and he's forming coalitions with neighbors in Africa to create their own sort of power block in Africa that's outside of Western influence. And the West in the past, they killed revolutionaries in Africa. They would literally go in, initiate a coup, kill any revolutionary leader that threatened the Western paradigm. But a lot of Central African countries in particular are re-challenging the Western paradigm, and I think they will have success in the near future.
Chair Langley, can you talk about why we care about what's happening in Africa right now? Why are we spending the money we're spending there?
For access and influence. I say that a number of countries are at the tipping point of actually being captured by the Russian Federation, as they are spreading some of their false narratives across Libya. And from a strategic answer piece, access influence across the whole Maghreb, that is NATO's southern flank. We need to be able to maintain access and influence across the Maghreb from Morocco all the way to Libya. The PRC and Russia are also remaining exploitative where possible and coercive when necessary. They want that ground. They want power projection capabilities. So for the most part, the rest of the continent is also for mining concessions, whether it be gold or rare earth minerals. Both of them have a long-range plan. But I think at the accelerated pace, the Russian Federation is really trying to take over Central Africa as well as the Sahel.
What people don't know is that he tried to step down in order for there to be an election. The people went out in protests. They went out in the streets and protests.
Wait.
We don't want you stepping down.
So he's trying to take the good route. He's like, I'm trying to do this democratic shit. Y'all go ahead and vote. I'm gonna step down so y'all can do the voting thing. And they're like,
no,
nah.
They refuse.
They're like, nah, don't step down because then you're gonna leave a window open for some fuck shit. We're not trying to have no more fuck shit.
They refused. They took to the streets to make sure that he stays in power. He already announced in 2029 there will be an election. But you got to realize there's so much turmoil and chaos going on in different regions of the country that they need some type of stabilization in order for there to actually be elections.
The world must never forget that Africa is the victim of two colossal and compounded injustices. First, the profound impact of colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade. The roots stretch back centuries, and the bitter fruit continues to affect Africans and people of African descent to this day. Decolonization alone in itself was not a panacea. Political independence did not free countries from structures based on exploitation and decades of economic, social, and institutional underinvestment. It is high time for reparatory justice frameworks to be put in place.
Nigeria is against African unity and has always been against Africans coming together to unite on the continent to see peace. This is what every African should know. So the military general in Nigeria, Christopher Mustafa, I believe that is his name, the man is suggesting that Nigeria needs to pull out billions of US dollars or millions of US dollars to fence its borders between Nigeria and Mali, between Nigeria and Niger and other countries. He says that is going to bring peace, and he gave some examples like Saudi Arabia fenced their borders, Pakistan also fenced their borders with Afghanistan to see peace. But in reality, on the continent in Africa, this will bring no peace. In fact, this suggestion here, this is being sponsored by the outsiders, those who are controlling Nigeria, the imperial powers, to make sure that they can suffocate our brothers in the Sahel regions. Remember, Nigeria is having access to the sea, to water, whereby countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger do not have access to sea. So Nigeria fencing their borders with these countries, which will restrict the movements of goods, not only goods, but the movement of people as well. So which means that the people in the Sahel regions are going to be suffocated to death by Nigeria. So this has nothing to do with achieving peace in Nigeria. This has nothing to do with any other thing, but they do not want African unity. From day one, the leaders in Nigeria are always against the African unity. This is the main problem, apart from one of the military leaders, which is Abacha. And today, if you should look out the history, they will tell you that Abacha was one of the most brutal dictators to ever existed on the continent in Africa or in Nigeria. But in reality, Abacha was the only leader in Nigeria that want to see Africans unite, and that also want to see the unity of the Nigerian people, sadly. So those who remove Abacha from power, or those who fought against Abacha's ideas, today they are the ones who are controlling the government in Nigeria. They are the leaders. So the Nigerian government currently suggesting that they should fence those borders between Nigeria and those countries. Has nothing to do with achieving peace in Nigeria, but is just to suffocate our brothers in the Sahel regions. Remember, because France, United States and their allies are losing control in the Sahel regions. They are not getting free gold anymore. They are not getting free resources anymore. So now they are going to push Nigeria to suffocate our own people in Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali. And this is sadly what the government of Nigeria is trying to do currently, and the military general. Shame on them. But let me know in the comments, what can we do to achieve peace in Nigeria? Number one, I will say to remove the puppet leaders in Nigeria. Because if you see, Boko Haram has been roaming freely in Nigeria, not because the Nigerian army do not have the equipment to fight Boko Haram. They do have everything, all the materials. You will see the terrorist groups in Nigeria, the terrorists uploading videos online. The Nigerian army intelligence, they cannot find them. But you as a civilian, if you upload a video criticizing the government in Nigeria, the leaders, they will be able to find you. Now tell me, what, like everyone is seeing what is currently going on in Nigeria. Basically, the government, the leaders in Nigeria are not interested in finding the terrorists, are not interested in, giving peace to the people in Nigeria. They are not interested in developing like Nigeria. They are only interested in where their self-interests are, which means to involve in corruption so that they can continue to loot the people, the poor people of Nigeria for their own personal gain. This is why you see them going to the United States on vacation. You see them going to Dubai in a luxurious lifestyle, while those governors, the presidents, those ministers, the cities that they are controlling, or the areas, the regions, the states that they are controlling in Nigeria, you cannot even use those roads during the rainy season, sadly. So again, fencing the borders between Nigeria and those African countries has nothing to do with achieving peace, but it is just a new way that the imperial powers are using Nigeria to suffocate our brothers in Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso. So we should all say no to this thing, and same on the leaders in Nigeria.
America must never tell us what to do. The same United States, which is furious at being cut off from the riches of Burkina Faso, cannot tell us what to do. We stand with Captain Traore. We stand with Traore because we know that Traore stands for the unity of Africa. We are Traore, and Traore is all of us. If they kill Traore, you must know they would have created another wound in the continent of Africa. We must defend him the same way we defend the unity of Africa. We must defend China for defying the USA and telling the USA to go to hell because they don't understand how the tariffs works. Donald Trump is an enemy of himself and all of us. And he must know the EFF is not scared of him. The EFF is not scared of Israel. The EFF is not scared of Morocco. The EFF is not scared of the imperialist forces. The EFF will stand on the side of the people of DRC, the people of Sudan, and the people of Sahrawi.
Leaders in the Sahel, I come in peace. I have observed that certain African countries that practice a democratic system of government are beginning to show serious interest in joining the Sahel Alliance. I don't really trust this. This is suspicious. The only people I trust in the Sahel are the three countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. You all started the Sahel Alliance. with the same goal. So I trust you all. Right now, these democratic leaders, their masters that they have been serving their interests are very desperate. So I cannot trust their puppets coming to join the Sahel. It might be a move, a secret move from their masters to go and spy on the Sahel. I am really glad with the conditions that were given to the Chad president when he showed interest in joining the Sahel Alliance. Whether he has fulfilled all those criteria that were given to him now, I can't tell. But it is my desire, as well as other well-meaning Africans, that any country in Africa that wants to join the Sahel be given even stricter policies that they must pass before they will be qualified to join the Sahel Alliance. And even when they join eventually, after the series of screening that would have been done, there should be some secret agents that will be spying on them secretly that they will not know about to further investigate their coming, if it's genuine or not. They cannot just come out and say they want to join the Sahel and they will be allowed to join the Sahel after all these years of them denying African unity. So they cannot be trusted.
You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists. But what is the effect of the African Union in reality? We cannot talk about integration in the theme and not talk about the African Union. Because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see these wars that persist on the African continent, killing millions of young people. And that this organization, which has heads of state, with armies, is unable to organize itself to support certain countries. The Union is not just a word. The Union is a symbol. And we, the youth, should learn a lesson from this situation to unite, to make integration a reality. I was unpleasantly surprised when Ethiopia, which hosts the headquarters of the African Union, was experiencing a conflict. And when I saw the Prime Minister put on a military uniform and announce the closure of the university in Addis Ababa to face the threat. I did not see any action from the African Union to protect these headquarters. Most Western states saw Addis Ababa falling, packing up and leaving. Ethiopia found an internal solution, and is living more or less in peace today. The children of Congo have been dying for years. Several other conflicts, such as in Sudan, exist on the continent. We would have liked to see the African Union generate the forces and all the necessary strategies to support these states so they can regain peace. For nearly 10 years, the Sahel has been the theater of international terrorism. But we see no support from these organizations to find a solution to this problem. Worse, a few days ago, a country foreign to Africa openly announced having supported and participated in a cowardly terrorist and barbaric attack against the forces of our confederation in Tinsawatan. The African Union did not utter a word to condemn this interference by a state outside of Africa in the internal affairs of our states. I would like them to hear this and therefore break their silence and take action so that the youth can believe in the African Union.
Let's not pretend Macron's statement was just a slip of the tongue. France isn't concerned about African development. France is panicking because for the first time in modern history, West Africa is slipping out of its grip and they don't know what to do. See, when Macron says now is not the time to leave Africa on its own, what he's really saying is we're losing access to your gold. We're losing access to your uranium and oil. We're losing control over your currency. And we're running out of ways to pretend we're still needed. Let's break that down. The CFA franc, still controlled by France, has propped up the French economy for decades. It's been the colonial ATM. French banks sit on billions in African reserves, while our people sit in line for fuel and food. But now, countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are kicking them out. And France is nervous. You can see it in the headlines. You can hear it in Macron's tone. Because when African nations started saying no to French troops, to to economic dependency to puppet politics, France lost the ability to destabilize quietly. They can't orchestrate coups the way they used to. They can't plant loyalists and call it democracy like they used to. They can't whisper from the shadows while Africa burns. Because the region is waking up, and puppets don't last long when the strings get cut. France needs Africa's mines to survive. They need our uranium to power their lights. They need our oil, our cocoa, our bauxite, and most of all, they need our silence. But we're done being quiet. So before I go, this isn't about whether Africa is ready. It's about whether France is ready to face a future where Africa no longer plays the sidekick, where we don't borrow identity, currency, or confidence from former colonizers. So Macron, if you're listening, your economy depended on ours for centuries. Now we're taking it back. Africa is not falling apart. Africa is falling into place. Let's move.
So Michael Langley again. So this time around, he is claiming that the terrorists in Africa, especially in Sahel states, they are ramping up and they are ready to the United States of America. Now sadly, the terrorists in Sahel states, they are no longer, focus on the Sahel state or the African country. Now they just want to jump up and start the United States of America. Oh no, this is like someone is looking for a reason, and to me I feel like the reason is invalid. I mean, come on, it doesn't make sense. So just say that, I want to stay in Africa, we just want to deal with Africa. Don't just make up all these lies. What do you guys think? Let me know. Make sure you like the video, you share the video, and you tell me, what do you think?
See, our culture is a death-based culture. Our culture has been trying to rule and dominate and control resources that exist in Africa.
Some of these Africans that come on my page and start fighting me because I'm trying to wake our people up, you are an enemy of our people. And I have no doubt your ancestors are among those who sold us out. Whatever color you are on this world, it is in the best interest of this planet that Africans wake up. If Africans don't wake up, this world will continue to suffer. I say that the ancestors did not build phones, did not build technology. We were charged with taking care of the earth. Exploiting the earth, one thing that the ancestors stood against. As we speak, Earth is moving towards extinction. This is not technology, this is the death of the earth. We are killing ourselves as a species. Everything that you call technology is exploitation, capitalism. It has nothing to do with the advancement of this world. If anything, it's moving us towards our end. The ancestors had better ways, which this world made sure that it was cleared from existence. Everything that you know about our ancestors is post-colonial. Why wipe them out completely out of existence? Only kids can be colonized. You can't colonize an adult. They needed to wipe out the adults and they colonized their kids. These kids are the post-colonial ancestors. These are the ancestors that you know are the ancestors who in turn gave birth to your parents, who in turn gave birth to you, which is why you idolize the white man for driving us towards extinction. Call up your mom or your dad and ask them to choose between you and Jesus Christ, and then get back to me.